threw out the ruling Conservatives in a historic shift to the left. Labour Party leader Keir Starmer required the symbolic approval of King Charles to become the new prime minister after Rishi Sunak handed in his resignation. Sunak's defeat is nothing less than a total repudiation by the British public.
Good morning. Well, what a day in British politics, Nancy. After 14 years of Conservative rule, which saw the party bitterly fracture over Brexit, multiple leadership changes, and erratic internal divisions during times of national emergencies like COVID and the cost of living crisis, British voters have had enough.
Like the global economic crisis in the Western world across the board has basically been a repudiation of whoever is in power. This spells trouble for Biden's prospects across the board, even though, he has additional issues as well. But I will say, it doesn't matter who's fucking holding the reins. You know what I mean? Unless they're actually putting straightforward policy measures to combat the affordability crisis in a meaningful way, it doesn't matter what they call themselves. People are going to be like, no, you're done. It is basically, yes, it is basically a weird time where there is incumbent disadvantage. It's odd because you see it with Macron in France, okay, center right, centrist neoliberal, getting absolutely comstered. You see the Tories in the UK after 14 years get eviscerated. People are just like swinging. They're swinging at whatever they can. Last time Labour had a super majority with Tony Blair, he said he regretted not being more progressive. I feel that Labour will do the exact same thing. This man, Keir Starmer, as far as I understand, unless he's been just like secretly faking it, and he actually is a fucking socialist, but he's been secretly faking being a centrist in order to, like, I guess, I don't know, in his own calculations, not put the fear of God in a bunch of reactionary British voters. Unless he like changes course on what he has messaged thus far, I think he's going to be more right-wing than fucking Tony Blair. I hope that's not the case.
And as Big Ben strikes 10, the exit poll is predicting a Labour landslide.
Even before a single ballot was counted, it was clear Keir Starmer's Labour Party had won a massive majority. And as the vote counting went into the early hours, it was confirmed.
We can now say with certainty that Labour have won the 2024 general election.
For the Conservatives, the defeat wasn't just crushing, it was a near annihilation. The worst result faced by the party in its 200-year history. Major figures out of jobs.
Dude, they deserve so much worse. I mean, I'm being honest with you, like, they deserve to be imprisoned. This should have been nipped in the bud in the Thatcher era, okay? They should have just straight up done like a people's tribunal on the entirety of the Conservative Party. Instead of privatizing said mines, they should have had state-funded mines that they shipped Thatcher and all of the fucking Tories to, and then done a serious re-education. But they didn't. And the Tories have dominated British politics for a very long time. Specifically, the last batch was the past 14 years. And the UK became unimaginably poor, while also the British wealthy became unimaginably rich, which is, of course, exactly what happens both in America and every other fucking Western liberal democracy, where you have people in positions of power whose job is specifically to do that. The Green Party did get a lot of votes. They got 4 seats, 2 more than expected. So perhaps there's a silver lining here. I mean, yes and no. Look at the fucking Lib Dems, dude. You know I'm being serious when I'm talking about British politics, and I haven't done a variety of different British accents throughout this process, okay? This is me locked in. Do you understand? I'm taking this shit seriously, all right? I haven't even done a British accent yet. It's been an hour. The coverage has started. I'm talking about motherfucking British politics, and I've yet to do an accent.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak soon conceded his party's brutal defeat.
The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight.
But the verdict was also fragmented, reflecting the deep dissatisfaction across Britain. Voter turnout was the second lowest since 1885, with Reform UK, an anti-immigrant party, gaining the third largest share of.
Voter turnout was the second lowest since 1885 is the real sobering number. What the fuck? Dude, do they not vote? No, bro, because Labor sucks dick too. Is that good? Yeah. No, it's really good. They're hitting America numbers. Oh, by the way, it's percentage, obviously. It's like percentage adjusted to the population. I'm just saying that, like, they're literally doing America right now, okay? It's crazy. And they don't even have a fucking electoral college, which basically means that, like, many people in Many people just have the reason not to vote. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess it's like first past the poll. So like that's one reason. But even then, first past the post. Is it first past the poll?
First past the post voting system left it with just 4 seats. Still, its leader, Nigel Farage, the right-wing populist ally of former President Trump, won his. The Green Party, as well as independent candidates who ran on platforms to end the war in Gaza, also managed to nab formerly safe seats from Labour.
You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
Still, the sheer size of the Labour landslide gives Keir Starmer the most decisive of mandates. After 14 years in the political wilderness, Labour is back, and Keir Starmer is now Prime Minister.
And with Keir Starmer now the latest occupant of 10 Downing Street, he's a prime minister who's inherited a fragile economy, crumbling infrastructure, and a disillusioned public. It's now his job to try and fix it all.
Dude, England is so cooked. Like, dude, it is actually really fucking bad. What has become of the supposed superiority of the Western world? All these fucking people cope and talk about like Western world is crumbling. Western civilization is crumbling because of gay people. It's like, no, dude, your fucking concrete is crumbling. Okay. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? None of your fucking trains work. The fuck are you talking about, dude? China is literally building high-speed rail everywhere, dude. Everywhere. You go to Asia, every fucking country. You go to Africa, they're building shit non-fucking stop. Meanwhile, the UK can't even build their goddamn hospitals, and people are like, oh, the Western world is collapsing. It's like, because of gay people. And it just is fucking falling apart, man. What the hell's going on? It was supposed to be a point of pride. Anyway, this is important to understand as well. Keir Starmer received fewer votes than Jeremy Corbyn did in both 2017 and 2019. Remember, Mr. Unelectable. In 2017, he got more votes. In 2019, he got more votes. Mr. fucking Unelectable. Okay? That's because Labour didn't gain a lot of supporters in that time. Conservatives just lost a lot. No, yes, conservatives did lose a lot. But the major problem here is that given the crisis within the Conservative Party, Starmer should be cooking, okay? Here's the UK food bank users, dude. Shit is mint. I mean, maybe they just open up more food banks. I don't know. Data lies sometimes, but like even then, not with Kid Starver in charge, dude. That shit's going to go down, trust. As in, he's just going to close them off. Anyway, shouldn't we support Keir Starmer as a visionary leftist, nevertheless, who led to the UK finally back to leftism? Yes, a visionary leftist. He's a revolutionary Stalinist, actually. He's a revolutionary Marxist. I'm super stoked for the UK. He's sending Rishi Sunak to a Labour camp. I'm not even kidding. Most people would say yes to that. If there was a referendum on should we send Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson and prominent figures in the Conservative Party into Labour camp, you would have 98%. You'd have Bashar al-Assad numbers on that referendum. Okay? It's not even a question, because like even the fucking Tory voters hate them. So, you know, there you go. They'd be like, yeah, no, send their asses to the fucking Labour camps. Let's go. Rishi Sunak to Rwanda. That would get 100% from the Reform Party, because they're like, oh, one less brown guy. Thank you. They would be like, yes. 100% of like the 4 million, however many million people fucking voted for Reform would say yes to that. 4 million people united for different reasons. All right, Labour wins by a landslide. Let's look at the Starmer versus Blair versus Corbyn comparisons.
Starmer is going to essentially more or less match what Tony Blair achieved in 1997 when it comes to seats in Parliament. But here's what's interesting. Look, this is how many votes across the country, how many people voted for Tony Blair and how those votes stacked up over the course of the count. Let's just compare that with what we've just seen for Keir Starmer. Just have a look at that. Okay, so that is the number of votes that Keir Starmer has achieved, and just look at how far short it is of the number of people who voted for Tony Blair in 1997. It's even short of the number of people who voted for Jeremy Corbyn in 2017, who obviously didn't even get into government. And so you can call that what you want. You can call it a change in the voting system. Well, certainly a representation of the voting system. You can call it efficiency. Whatever you call it, though, it is a thumping majority without a thumping share in the votes.
Yeah, I give 2 years before people are calling him Herr Starmer. I think he's going to be a Macron-style figure that causes so much disdain towards Labour and bring about the fucking Fourth Reich in the UK. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong. But I'm telling you right now, it feels like we're at the precipice. If Keir Starmer continues with austerity, if Keir Starmer continues with privatization, if Keir Starmer continues with conservative policies with a red sticker on it, okay, I'm telling you, if he does that, we're talking Reform UK, whatever the fuck it is. Maybe Reform takes over the Conservative Party entirely. Maybe it's just simply Reform. You're staring at the barrel of a goddamn gun. You are staring down fascist mobilization in the UK like you've never seen. If he continues this, now maybe he doesn't. Maybe he was lying this entire time. In his entire election campaign, he was just lying, and he's secretly a committed Marxist-Leninist, and he's going to do unimaginable good, okay? That would be incredibly hopeful. I just don't think that he would do that, especially considering what the party looks like now, what the Labour Party looks like now in comparison to where it was under Jeremy Corbyn, what they did specifically to like Corbynites and anyone who's like ostensibly a real leftist in the fucking Labour. You know, Starmer as a white hat centrist is hilarious. Yeah, he just like faked it. He faked being a centrist, and now you will see the real red Labour wave is actually red for communism. The specter of communism is haunting the UK.